One of the things a student will do to learn the figure is work on gesture. Gesture is basically the very quick essence of the way a figure is standing or sitting. And as one of my instructors said, it's also observing what is doing the work. For instance, I'm looking at the figure here. This is a plaster cast, a plaster cast of an old sculpture that's used in many figure classes. Anyway, the leg, his left leg is where all the weight is. So we can say that on this pose, this left leg is doing the work, and this leg is merely balancing or supporting the figure. The other thing we look for is the sense of the spine, and that's one very quick thing that can be gotten down. The spine is an S-curve, so it starts up at the neck, comes around by the waist, and then the sacrum is there. So basically that's, from his side, the shape of the spine, maybe a little exaggerated. Then if we put the neck on, put the head where it is, and then I get a sense of the leg, and I'm going to quickly assess the angle of that leg so it's tilted back so that he can stand upright. And so the leg would come down like this. The foot is about there. Oops, it's a little long. The other foot is back here. Quickly put in the shoulder. And that's a very quick gesture drawing. These are not for public consumption. No one is going to evaluate them. A teacher might come around and suggest you look at such and such, but will never say, oh, that's a really bad drawing. That's not what this is about. It's literally about feeling the figure and how they're standing and what is doing the work. And there's something about doing a practicing quick gesture that helps us to do work on the figure that is not detail-oriented, because there's power in the gesture. So if we don't get the gesture, all the detail in the world may not be appealing. So since I have a stationary camera here, it looks like I could use a lot of work on just doing this one angle over and over and over again. I would just keep turning my page, or I might even just erase this out. I'd use both sides of the pages of my tablets, which I don't do when I'm doing finished drawings, and just keep working on that gesture to feel what's happening with the figure. And the more I do it, the better I would probably get. Then I might zero in on one feature of this plaster cast, and he's a wonderful model because he doesn't move. So on this particular cast, the muscles are very well defined. As a matter of fact, it's as though some of the skin and the first layers of soft tissue have been removed, and we get a peek into the detail of what's going on in the figure. And the arm particularly is a beautifully crafted feature of the human figure. So I would be inclined, after practicing some quick sketches for maybe 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes, if I could stand it. It is kind of frustrating, but doing repeatedly, one gets more confident. It can even kind of be fun, almost like a dance. But then I might move to zeroing in on, for instance, that arm. And we have this beautiful deltoid muscle up here. It's so named, deltoid. Delta is a derivative of that word, or similar to it, meaning the triangular geographical feature in the earth. So that's easy to remember, and it's easier to see in people who have worked out, of course. It's more defined in men who are athletic and have worked out, but particularly dancers, women dancers and conductors have beautifully defined deltoids. Then we have, I don't remember all the muscles of the arm, but there's a series up here, and then we come to the elbow, and that bone actually points down, believe it or not. It doesn't point up that way, it kind of points down. And then this beautiful muscle that attaches at the elbow overlaps here, so it comes around and then down. And this is just such a great model to work on these details, because otherwise for years and years and years my arms looked like this. They looked like sausages, and it wasn't until I was able to have a live model, or when I purchased this wonderful guy, that I could begin to really look at the definitions of those models and come up with something that looks a little more like an arm.